All right, welcome into another episode of the Lowdown Sports Show. This show is brought to you by the Basketball Podcast Network, presented by DraftKings. I'm your host, Drew.
I'm
All
BJ.
right, welcome into another episode of the Lowdown. Whoops.
That's on your end.
Yeah, I know. Rewind.
All right, let's try this again.
All right, welcome into another episode of the Lowdown Sports Show. This show is brought to you by the Basketball Podcast Network, presented by DraftKings. I'm your host, Drew,
I'm BJ.
and you won't hear that sound again. We're here to get the lowdown on all things basketball. Got a show chock full today. Got some couple of topics on both sides of the spectrum. We do NBA and WNBA, so we're talking the NBA2K covers on both sides that were released. We at least the Legend Edition for the men, anyway, and the WNBA cover. Also, gonna go ahead and do some WNBA Midseason awards, as well as go to BJ's Best, see what BJ's got on tap for us today, and what's on my mind. You'll find
As
out what's
always,
on
yeah.
my mind today. So, episode chalk. Oh, and of course, some with it or quit it. As you know, Mr. BJ is heading that up today.
We got it all set down here, man.
Yes, indeed. So, plenty of material for the show today. So, without further ado, Mr. BJ, are you ready to go?
Let's get ready to podcast.
Let's get ready to podcast. Let's go. All right.
Tried
So,
something new there. It didn't
yeah,
work.
we'll take it. We'll take it regardless. All right. BJ, NBA 2K announced a couple of covers here recently. The Legend Edition for NBA 2K23 and the WNBA edition of NBA 2K23. Covering the Legend Edition is none other than most people's favorite, Michael Jordan. He was introduced yesterday as the cover athlete. There's a Michael Jordan Championship Edition and a Michael Jordan Original Edition. Pre-order starts tomorrow. Recording on a Wednesday, so
All right.
Thursday the 7th, 7/7, which should be the actual Luka Doncic day, which is not, which it's today is
Well,
Luka Day. Shouts out
you,
to
you,
Luka,
you know
officially
why, I'm
Luka Day.
sure.
We won't talk about it.
Yeah.
I actually don't remember, but
It
it
was
should be
the
7/7.
it should be, but because of there was, I think this is going to be the 6th anniversary of that shooting that happened in downtown Dallas and
Oh
killed
yeah,
those
yeah,
police officers.
gotcha.
So that's
Good
part of the
reminder.
reason why, because they did this last year. They said it was on 7/6, and a lot of people were wondering why it wasn't on
Yeah,
7/7, which is his actual number,
right.
and so
Maybe they should have gave him 2 days. Give him 2 days so he could have the 7/7 too. Anywho, Michael Jordan, cover athlete, once again. Um, how many has he been on at this point? I know he was on the 11 one of the
yeah,
better NBA 2K games that they've ever
because
made. My
because
goodness, I was
was
in
that
my
the year
room
they
just
yeah, that was the year
summing
they
it up.
did the three different with Magic, Bird, and Jordan, right?
Oh, I don't remember. Hold
Because I
on.
know they did one that was they had like you could get one that had Jordan, one that had Bird, or one that had, I believe it was Magic. I thought they
I don't
did
know. I
that.
didn't think they did the Legend Edition
Or
stuff
did they
back
put,
then
no, it was
because this
just the
was on
regular cover.
360. No, this one, no, this was like Jordan driving with the ball, on the cover. That's it. That is it.
That may have been a different one, because I remember there was one that had either you could get one that was like one of them, or there was one that had like all three of those different options. Um, I thought that it was. I thought they were separate. Like you could get one of any of the athletes that you wanted, but you had to order like specifically from like certain place. Like if you got it at Walmart, you got the Bird edition, or Target had the Jordan edition, and GameStop had the Bird edition, or Magic, or
I mean,
whatever.
I think that's just how it is now. But back then, they only had the one game from my understanding. I used to only just see the one game Michael Jordan driving with the ball with his tongue out. It was the same on every system, and
Maybe it was
it
different
was on
consoles.
360, PS3. They all have the same stuff. So
We
I
need
don't
we
think
need
that was
to.
something that happened back then. I think
Uh,
that is something that's within recent years that
I
has
I
happened
just
with
I
NBA
swear I
2K.
remember that being from like when I was in high school.
Mm-mm.
So we need C Hindo in here to help straighten us out on the video game
I mean,
history.
you can keep digging, but I'm telling you, I used to have all the young 2K games. The next one,
Yeah,
when KD Rose and Blake Griffin were on it
yeah, I remember
as
that.
well.
That was
So I mean, I
13.
was piling them all on before 2K11. Kobe was on 2K10.
Yeah.
So I've been playing them for a minute, so getting used to this. But I don't know exactly when it happened. I'm pretty positive it was after we got out of high school, which was
So
2013. So sometime whilst we were in our early stages of college is when they started doing the Legend Edition stuff.
so
Uh,
2K12 did have three different covers that you could get. One had Jordan, one had Bird, one had Magic. I
okay.
guess I thought it was 11, but I was guessing.
I don't
I guess I
remember that.
remember 12. Here, I've got a picture
Did I
here.
buy
Hold on.
12?
You may not have. It was not a great game,
Probably
but
not, because
uh,
heck, 11 was the
here,
last good one, to be honest.
yeah,
Oh yeah, I didn't buy 12. I bought 13. See,
yeah.
that's
I
the
had
KD, D
13, and I
Rose,
think
Blake
I had
Griffin.
11, but I didn't get 12.
Okay,
I
I did
never,
not
I
get
didn't
12.
hear good things
Yeah,
about it, so I
12
didn't
was
buy it.
bad.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Wait a minute. I'm seeing good reviews. I don't know, dude.
I mean, it's better
I
than
didn't have it
some
though.
of
I
the
know that. I
yeah.
didn't have 12.
It
I
was
didn't have
better
12.
than Live was at that point. I mean, I think
Well,
Live had
yeah.
finally, had started to come to the end at that point.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I
we've
didn't have
gone.
12.
I didn't have 12, but I did remember that I thought those were different options that you could do for 1 year. And
Okay.
sure enough,
Well,
I'm not crazy. That's all I was
anyway,
trying to find out.
point being that I was leading into is that Jordan has been on this thing before
Hmm.
multiple times, and it's kind of getting old. Though, people, like was talked about on social media throughout the day, that, the Jordan games were pretty good, when he was on the
Yeah.
cover. The 2K was, those were some of the best games was when he was on the cover. Um, so, people are kind of in favor of it for now. And, most people, that's their goat anyway.
Hmm.
So it's easy for them to just be like, all right, cool, whatever, and just kind of roll with it because that's just their guy already. So they're rocking with Michael Jordan, their goat, and that's their guy. And it's me
So
sitting over
this
here
is
saying their goat. I'm sorry, guys. I love LeBron James, so I'm gonna take. I'm a. It's a tough conversation, but
this is number 4 for Jordan. He was on
4,
2K11, as you said.
12,
He
yeah,
was on 12, and then 2K16 as well was the last time
16.
he's been on there. So
Uh,
it's been about 7 years since he's been on the cover.
but still, I mean, this multiple times, 4 times.
Well, wasn't there a
That's a lot of
stretch that
covers.
AI had where he was on it like 2 or 3 years in a row?
I don't know.
I mean, that was in the early days, like
I don't know.
like the first
But
games that were coming
But
out.
they missed on opportunities with some other people they could. John Morant was right there to put on the cover.
For
Nikola
the Legends
Jokic was
edition,
right.
though,
No, 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 no. We don't think Have you heard about the rumors about who is gone to
we
actual?
kind of talked about it, maybe not during the
Well,
show,
these are more
but
recent. Like Devin
yeah,
Booker is the
yeah,
rumored face of it, and I mean other people still right there. It's
yeah.
but on
I
the
mean,
Legend Edition, just I mean there's so many. We just did the 75th anniversary. Go get somebody else. I mean, there's plenty out there.
it feels
Tim
like it
Duncan
should have.
does he have a Legend Edition? I don't
I
think
don't
so.
know.
I mean, Timmy D. I mean, best
Yeah.
power forward. A top 10 player all time. Most people regard.
I think
Um,
this was a little bit odd because it
I don't
feels
know.
like it should have been flip flop. Luca's on it on this current 2K22. For so last year, but maybe it makes more sense for Booker to have been on it last year, coming off a Finals appearance, and now Luca to be
Yeah.
on it coming up this year, coming off a Western Finals appearance. I don't.
Well,
I mean, Steph Curry. When was the last time he was on the cover?
yeah, and well, I don't know. Curry. Let's see. I had it up.
Was he? I was gonna say,
Last time Curry was on the cover was 2K16.
yeah. So it's been a while for him too.
So I'm actually kind of surprised that he hasn't been on it again, but I kind of get it. Um, and just the history of 2K ever since those, 11, 12, and 13 games, especially 11 being, probably regarded as the best one,
Best, yeah,
and 12 being good. But they had a run where it was just bad. The game stunk.
yeah.
And people don't like
Don't
the current game. Like when you go look on whatever platform you use, you Xbox or you're a PlayStation Network person, or you're on Steam like I am. You go look at the reviews and like just
mhm,
how people regard the game. Like it's not good.
no.
It's not good reviews for a lot for the past probably 10 years of games. You'll find more mediocre to negative reviews than positive. You'll
Well,
probably find maybe two or three positive for
do
sure,
do you know why
and
that is, Drew?
it's because the game stinks,
Well,
legitly.
that partially that, but I think that's when, you look at back of like 10 years, that's really when you saw the beginning of like paying to win start to come around, and where you had basically had to spend your own money more so, not just to buy the game and play it, but you got to spend more and more money to even, have a good chance of winning if you want to play online. The microtransaction era is like you want to
Hey,
call it.
I'm not even gonna lie, BJ. A lot of people really don't care how much they have to spend online. They will play the heck
It's
out of their my player. They'll
insane.
live in the neighborhood.
No.
They'll squad up. Play and what was it called? What am I pro am and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they don't mind, and they'll buy the fits for their people. So I mean, that's kind of like even with the free games, like people are still gonna buy the in-game content. So
Yeah.
for example, Apex Legends is free, and like people spend to buy the heirlooms and cool skins that come out in the new seasons. People want that stuff to make
Yeah.
their characters look cool. So they're going to do the same thing in a basketball game for sure. Especially natural hoopers who spend like all the time, creating the perfect player and like getting the right, build for them. Getting the right build in 2K has now become like a literal science project. I remember in high school on the 2K11s and 12s and 13s and like that, you know, it used to be so easy to run through my player and just rack up championships,
Yeah.
get triple doubles and like just be cold at the game in general. And not playing on any mediocre difficulties or anything, but challenging yourself. But it was a lot easier. You didn't have to worry about builds and things like that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
in recent years, like since we've been in college and since we got out,
Mhm.
the builds are so complex. You have to
It's
have something like
ridiculous.
right to a T to get
Yeah,
a certain build. If one thing is off, you get a different build. You have to like literally the last time I bought 2K, so it wasn't the last one. So I think it's the 2K21 edition. I don't remember who's on the cover of that. Um,
Lillard and Zion. I've got the list
Lillard.
pulled up.
Okay, Lillard. That's the one I got for PC.
Okay.
Um, and you know, I watched a YouTube video, so I wanted this build that somebody was talking about before the game come out that like it was a perfect build for like these guards or whatever. And I was like, okay, I gotta go watch this video, so I make sure I get exactly everything right as I'm sitting there clicking. Okay, this to this to this, and you get it. But that's how serious it is, so that you don't get the wrong type of player that you want to play with
Man,
like forever, or you just have to start over and try it again, and it
jeez.
stinks.
That's
But and they've
ridiculous.
added a whole lot to the story of the my players stuff. Like you actually, I mean, there's a lot to it. I don't even want to try to explain all of it, but
No.
um,
I
the
got
end,
2K22 on the PS4 just because Luca was on it. I mean, I
yeah,
play it every now and again, but I don't drop money or, go online. You might call
yeah.
me a noob. I guess that's fine.
No, but to get to the W side, not only has that side been griped at severely for a long time, like just it's first it was non-existent, now it's there and it's just bad, and like players don't look like themselves. Like I know for a fact on 2K21, like when you we look for the coaches, like nobody looks like anybody. It's just random people, random faces on the screen in the game. They don't look like anything
Hmm.
on 21. But I don't know what 22 is like for the W side, but people still aren't impressed. Calling for it to be better and everything like that. So there's a hankering for it to be better. It deserves to be better. And the cover, they missed pretty badly here. Um, I understand the direction of Sue. She's announced her retirement.
Yeah.
I got a farewell tour. She's going to go down, for the most part, as the best point guard in WNBA history. Um, but DT hasn't announced her retirement. Um, you know, stop regarding her as the GOAT when that is not an official thing and it's very much a conversation. And you could hard argue that she's not top two. So,
Yeah.
them putting her on the cover, is just missing and disrespecting Sylvia Fowles, arguably the best center in our game. Uh, and putting her on the cover alongside Sue since they're both retiring this year. And they knew that. They knew that. And putting them alongside the Sue and Sil Legend Edition. It
Hmm.
was right there. It
Yeah.
was right there, and they just were like, DT, yes, goats.
Perfect.
This
Right.
is what
Yeah.
Ryan Rucco and everybody say during the game. DT the goat. Everybody framing DT as the goat. When it's
DT
the
the goat.
when it's the
No.
biggest conversation in sports today of who the goat is in the WNBA.
Yeah.
It's the hardest to argue. Like,
Well,
um,
Drew, I mean, you were talking before the show started about, looking at some of these responses on Twitter. I think I found one that kind of sums this up. And, this is something that should be addressed, regardless of how you feel about the WNBA. 2K has a watered down version of the game for the WNBA. You can't do
yeah,
a career mode,
yeah,
can't do my GM or 80% of the game with the
sure can.
WNBA. It's basically just you have the teams and you can do a quick play. So if that's the only reason that it's in the game, that doesn't feel like you're really, giving it the platform it deserves. It just feels like you're doing it for, I don't know, brownie points to look good. I don't think that that's necessarily what we want
No,
as W fans.
just doing it to kind of satisfy, the crowd of W Twitter, begging
Yeah,
for it in the game. And
yeah,
so they just threw it in the game for it to be in the game. They didn't really care as much about it. Um, and it's sad. It's
yeah,
unfortunate. They're just being lazy with it. Watered down version is perfect.
yeah,
Perfect description. Because I know 21 was bad. God knows what 22 was. Probably not much of an improvement there. But they've got a long way to go, and they're just not caring about it. And
yeah,
the sad part is, not only are they messing up that side of the game, they can't even get the NBA side right. Like people
yeah,
always dislike the entire game for the most part. There are good things within 2K that people like, but the game as a whole and its whole body, like I
yeah.
was streaming 2K21 on Twitch, back in last year.
Hmm.
And I got kicked offline and like a copyright strike because of the music playing in the game. And that's not supposed
Yeah,
to happen. So that's why I
no,
haven't, I've never, tried to stream basketball again or anything on any platform because of that one incident. Apparently it doesn't really happen anymore, but that one incident was just like, oh my gosh, I can't even
it's
get on here and
ridiculous.
play this game. But they missed on putting Sue and Sil on this cover when it was right there for them. They're just they're
Yeah,
tone deaf. The people running that as far as the WNBA side aren't really in tune with what's going on. But you could also alternatively, if you don't go with the Sue Sil version, ignore the DT Sue. You
hmm,
could have gone Brittany Griner. You could have gone
yeah,
Brittany Griner for a W side cover.
yeah,
Tribute to Brittany here. You didn't have to go any goat edition or tribute it to anybody. You could have
yeah,
just
yeah,
BG 42 cover. You know, it was right there as your alternative. But I've totally for the retirement tour people should have been on there. Sue Sill, that's
yeah,
what should have been there. Your best point guard in league history, and arguably your best point guard, and arguably your best center, retiring in the same year. Boom, put it on
yeah.
the cover. That's it's just
Now,
simple.
I don't know how long it takes to, do anything, but with the backlash and outcry that we've had,
Hmm.
with this cover, is there time if they decided like, oh crap, we messed up,
Is it
we
time
need
to
to
change it?
rectify
No,
this?
they're not gonna
That
change it. No,
they can't change it. They can't even
no.
add her. They can't even add Sylvia in and like put the three of them together.
No, and it's already no. I guarantee the wheels are already in motion. Copies are already out. They're already asking. Pre-orders are due like I don't know what
Like you said
next
tomorrow,
week or
right? Or
something.
okay,
Tomorrow. I said I don't remember what day. The
or
7th,
maybe
I think.
they start going on sale or so
Yeah,
maybe.
but like starting and ending soon. So
Yeah.
I mean, they already got them They already got things in the works. These 2K23 covers are probably everywhere. I just don't. I don't see it. I don't see any change happening. I think they're going to stick with it. They're going to run with it unless they just get ultimately just severely pressured to
Yeah.
take DT off, or like DT's like, no, put Sylvia on. I don't want to be on it. Take
Yeah.
me off.
And or DT
Which,
says I'm coming back next year. We need to rectify this.
which is probably not going to happen.
No.
Um, so I don't see it. I feel like we're going to be stuck with that, unfortunately. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
shouts out to Sue, but the other
absolutely.
part's just not the greatest. I mean,
Wasn't
you could have done eight too. I mean,
yeah.
she's the most marketable person in this league. But I mean, whatever. You
What
know,
wasn't there a year that they had Kyrie on the cover and then like he hadn't made his
2K18.
decision, so there were some that went out with him on in Cleveland gear and some that were him and finally in Boston gear or a lot of them
Yeah, I think there was something with that. Was that when, or that was
because that's when
it,
I thought he changed teams that off
kind of like
season and
confirming? Yeah, well, I thought it was after, because like
I,
the 2K curse is like once you're on the cover, the season after, you go to a different team.
no, I thought the reason I remember that is because they had some with him still in Cleveland, and then he decided to go to Boston, but they'd already had him in his Cleveland attire because he waited so long before
Oh, and they had
he
to
made his
change it.
decision. Yeah, and so they had to
Yeah,
change it. But that's the reason why I remember it.
yeah. That's like that's some Kyrie stuff right there.
Yeah,
Um,
it's true.
yeah, that was back in 2K18. 2K18, good old.
So 2017, been 5 years now.
Um,
How about that? Isn't
yeah,
that funny how time flies?
but yeah, wish they would have gone with a different legend on the NBA one. Waiting to see who's gonna be on the regular cover for NBA. WNBA, you just missed. That's all I
I
got.
mean, I'm fine with the Legend edition since it's been what 7 years you said since MJ's been on the cover
You
and
said it,
our
but
well, I
yeah,
think it's been 6 years.
yeah,
2K16. Uh,
but yeah, I mean, I'm
so
okay with it, but they could have gone elsewhere. I mean,
they could have, and they did go with the 75th. They treated 2K22 even though it came out last year as a 75th. So they did have some different options. I know Dirk was an option that you could get. I think Kareem was one that you could purchase. So it makes sense with 2K23 honoring 23.
mhm.
So let have Jordan have another day in the sun, I guess. But it will probably be a while. I can't imagine he'll get another cover for quite some time. Um,
I wonder when
and
they're
then,
gonna put LeBron back on.
yeah, that's a good question. I
Maybe
wonder if they're
on.
just waiting and he'll be on the first Legend edition after he retires.
He hasn't been on one I think since 14, right?
That feels right. Let's see. I had it up. All right, let's
Can't
see
keep
here.
track. Goodness. But
Yeah,
yeah,
it was 2K14 was the last time he's been on the cover. My goodness.
and that was his only time, right? I don't think he was on there in Cleveland.
No, that's his only time so far. Is that
Oh,
he?
really?
That's his only one.
That's crazy.
They had AD on it, 2K20, Laker
Oh
teammate,
yeah.
just a couple of
I
years
think
ago.
I had that one too. I didn't like that game. That game sucked, dude.
Can we agree that like the best part of the 2K games for quite a while now has been the soundtrack though? Like it's
No, yeah,
really
they
come
had pretty
down.
good music.
They finally didn't have the competition with live that they felt like they needed to worry and focus on putting together a good game anymore, and so they finally just were like, yeah, you know what, we'll kill it with the
Oh
soundtrack,
wait,
but we don't
no,
care
LeBron
about the
was on the
rest.
Legend Edition for 2K19.
Was he
It
really?
was 20th anniversary edition. Actually, not Legend, but 20th anniversary. And Ben
Oh yeah,
Simmons was
there you go.
on
You're right.
a version of 2K19.
Yeah, only in Australia and New Zealand. So LeBron has had two. So,
Okay.
but yeah, I mean, Allen Iverson was on it 5 straight years. The first 5 years that they were doing 2K games were AI. So that's probably it's going to take a while before anybody tops that. MJ just now getting to four.
AD's been on here twice. That's kind of wild to think about.
That's really insane.
Man, there's a whole bunch of different versions, like Spain editions and things like that.
Yeah,
But like I'm seeing all the main ones that we kind of went through here. Yeah, I see the magic and the bird and stuff that you're talking about. I remember
yeah.
seeing those now. I never had them. But yeah, that was the first time that they had did that. The rest of these, just 2K7, 2K8,
Hmm.
Shaq was back to back on here.
Yeah, I
Uh,
had both the Shaq games when I was a kid.
yeah, AI did three-peat. He four-peated. He
Five,
five-peated.
five. Yeah,
2K1,
I just said that.
2K21. Yeah, yeah. No, I'm just like looking at it,
No,
so
I
it's just like,
know.
wow, just
It's
like, yeah,
insane. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's crazy. Five P,
Oh
and
my
they'll
goodness.
probably never put him on the game again. Like you were on there 5 times, sir.
Yeah, I
That's
can't
enough.
imagine he'll ever get another one.
Yeah, but like what they could have like since I just ran through and I didn't see people like they could have got they haven't put Hakeem on anything. Well, no, sorry, last
I
year
was gonna
he
say,
was
yeah.
he was with Kareem, I think. Was he?
I thought I know that was
No,
KD.
no, it was Kareem, Dirk, and KD.
Yeah,
Yeah, so they haven't put Hakeem on there yet. They could have gone Hakeem right somewhere. I haven't seen him on anything, even those other alternate
yeah.
editions.
I
But
haven't seen Hakeem on there anywhere.
anyway, that's enough of that. BJ's best is on tap.
All right.
BJ's best.
Well, Drew, this is BJ's best, and unfortunately, it starts off as BJ's best, and then it gets to be BJ's worst.
Oh,
So
buddy.
I'm sure you've heard, unless you've been living under a rock, over the weekend, a new movie came out that's number one in America right now. It's called Minions: The Rise of Gru, and so it is the latest installment in the Despicable Me franchise. It's so they've had three Despicable Me movies, one, two, and three, and then they
Mm,
had a spinoff, or I guess you could call it a prequel, called Minions that came out a few years ago. Well, this is a sequel to the prequel that's still in the past of Despicable Me. So I don't know where we want to go with the timeline on it. Anyway, it's called Minions: The Rise of Gru, and it picks up where the first Minions left off. What caught my attention, Drew, about this? Have you heard of a trend called the Gentle Minions?
the Gentle Minions.
The Gentle
No.
Minions.
Mm-mm.
Okay, so the Gentle Minions has been a trend picked up on social media mostly by teenagers,
Oh,
where
that's
you
fine.
see a bunch of teens dressed up in formal attire going to the movies to see Minions: The Rise of Gru. And I put that as like my best because I was like, that's something that you don't see anymore is people getting dressed up and going to the movies like it's a genuine event like it
Oh,
used to be
yeah.
back in the past. So
You
you
know,
know, go ahead.
sorry. The crazy part is I actually heard somebody on the radio today talking about their kid who's like, I don't know, 16, asking them to take them to the movies. And like, I think they were dressed up for this Minion movie.
It's
So,
probably the
yeah.
trend. It's probably Gentle
Yeah, yeah,
Minions.
yeah. Yeah, so that's kind of wild that
So
this is BJ's
yeah,
best today.
it is indeed. So apparently, how it started is that the fans have a love of the franchise, and so they, decided to dress up and treat it like an event and go see the movie, in formal attire. You've seen certain, uh, trends on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, apparently. Unfortunately, no, in the UK, some theaters have had to ban groups of guests wearing formal
Mm,
attire from watching the film because
mm,
apparently, even though it's gentle minions, and you could make the argument that it's trying to be a gentleman, if you will, when you're going to see the movie, there's been some disruptive behavior or
front row
some
raggy.
very just not good, leaving a whole bunch of trash in the theater. That's not good. You can't
Right.
do that. The people that work at the movie theaters do not get paid enough to deal with this crap. You can't, be rude or make a mess or anything like that. There is, a good place in society for having a genuine love of a franchise enough to want to dress up and appreciate it in going to the movie theater.
Hmm.
But I I I say that all that to be said that the reason it caught my eye was because you just don't see people dressing up to go to the movies anymore. And so it was going to
Yeah,
be part of my
only
best
like Halloween.
until, yeah, I guess. But even then, I mean, you see superhero attire, I would say, and
Right,
costumes, but not formal wear. You really don't
right,
see, like
right.
a event that you'd go like when you're going to the opera or something like that. People always dress up and go see, events like the opera or the symphony or the higher society type of events like that. You don't see it in the movie theaters a lot, and that's
Right.
something that we've kind of lost track of as a society. I'm obviously guilty that I don't make it a an event when I go see a movie. I don't dress up in a suit. Of course, I don't like wearing suits a whole lot in general, but
Mm.
be nice to the theater workers. Don't make a mess. Clean up after yourself. We shouldn't have to treat you like you were raised in a barn. Come on, enjoy the movie, but don't disrespect the people that are getting probably minimum wage to work there as a summer job. They've got a lot to deal with as it is, and you don't need to make their jobs any more difficult.
I smell a lot of popcorn in the theaters. I'm not gonna lie
Yeah,
sometimes.
if it happens on accident, that's one thing. But if it's
No.
just do it like intentionally, like like
Yeah.
laughing
Oh no,
and
I'm not
jumping,
like
or yeah,
not throwing popcorn like it's potpourri. And first of all,
yeah,
that popcorn
no,
is
it's
expensive
yeah, it
anyway. I'm
really
not about to.
is.
I just beautifully buttered it. I'm not about to soak the floors with my beautiful
Yeah,
popcorn.
it's mm-mm.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay.
All right,
Okay.
man. That's BJ's best for this week. We'll have more when
Indeed.
we get to season three. I'll try to go more than just one story a week.
You're good. You're good. The stories will be never ending, just like the action never ends at DraftKings Sportsbook, BJ. Especially this summer, man. And it is hot this summer. It was hot today. With tons of ways to bet on all your favorite sports, you can fuel your fandom, yes, yours, and feel the heat of the season like never before. Plus, right now at DraftKings Sportsbook, it's giving new customers a risk-free bet up to $1,000. That's right. Make your first bet up to $1,000, and if it doesn't win, you'll get another shot to cash in.
That's right, Drew. You can throw down on all the major action that's coming up this month. You've got options of baseball, golf, MMA. Wimbledon's going on right now.
Ooh,
Rafi
baby.
Nadal, he won in a gritty five
I
set
miss me
victory
some tennis.
today. Oh, I'm hoping he can keep pulling it out and win the championship because he's trying to do something he's never done before,
He's
and that's win.
scorching right now.
Yeah, he's dealing with an injury too, which makes it even more phenomenal.
Yeah.
He's trying to win all the Grand Slam events in the same calendar year. He's never done that before. It's very rare to do in tennis, but he's got two. If he wins Wimbledon, that would be three of the four that he needs. Plus, if you're looking ahead for some baseball action this weekend, I can tell you I like every single odd you can get on the Braves series as they host the Nationals over the weekend.
Okay.
Anyway, you've got same game parlays, spreads, money lines, over unders, prop bets. The betting options really feel endless at DraftKings because it's safe, secure, and reliable. You can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code TBPN. Make your first deposit and get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. That's promo code TBPN only at DraftKings Sportsbook.
Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. All right, Drew, it's come to that point in the show where we find out what's on
Woohoo.
Drew's mind.
Well, BJ, as we all know, and I must feel like I have to always restate, there's always a lot on Drew's mind. There's always a lot. Always a lot
Mm-hmm.
on Drew's mind. But more specifically today, it has to be something in the TV movie realm
Okay.
because one of my favorite shows is coming back with season 6 on Monday.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about.
Mm. BJ, you know the show Breaking Bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, by God, this prequel, Better Call Saul, is coming back on Monday,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of talk that it could possibly be better in most fans' opinion than Breaking Bad.
The way this season has started off, I can understand that argument.
It
I've
is
really
also
been
going longer than
hooked.
Breaking Bad, I believe.
Yeah.
Breaking Bad was 5 seasons, right?
I think so. Looking at the total episode count, it's very similar. I think it ends up being like 63 for Better Call Saul and 62 for Breaking Bad. It's
Yeah.
very similar. They did like two half 8 episode seasons for Breaking Bad in season 5.
Point being, one of my favorite shows coming back Monday, and I'm excited because I was
Oh
behind a
yeah,
bit. One of my other friends is really into it, and since he was into it, I was like, "Oh snap! I'm a couple seasons behind." So I sat there and binge watched it for a while. So I'm rehyped, right in the
yeah,
mix of it. I just saw the first half of this season. The other half is coming back, and it's getting right into Breaking Bad territory. Sorry for any Better Call Saul people who haven't caught up yet. Catch
yeah.
up.
I've tried not to talk about it with you because I knew you were behind, but I was like, "Rah!"
I should have said disclaimer. There might be spoilers here. So if you got caught to this point and you did not know that I was going to spoil something slightly already, then I would turn heel for a second.
I don't
But
think we've talked anything spoilery yet.
okay, yeah, right. But in case I just
This is your
I'm not going to
warning.
spoil anything. But just be prepared in case you're way behind for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Better Call Saul has over the years. This debuted in 2015. BJ season 1 debuted in
Mm-hmm.
2015. This season 1 technically starts and takes place in 2002.
Mm-hmm.
Better Call Saul, it has so far, at least from what I saw, there's probably more. 39 awards and nominations for the show. Big time.
Yeah.
And it is
It's
very
huge.
popular. BJ, over the years since you've known me, you've heard me talk a lot about Game of Thrones and
Mm-hmm.
how good and how highly rated its seasons were. At least very early on in the show until season 8, which we won't talk about. Uh, and their Rotten Tomato scores, and they were almost perfect series. Just beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, BJ, Better Call Saul is holding that standard to its highest form.
Mm-hmm.
It has no season so far any lower than 97%.
That's tough to do.
97%. Every season from the first one to, what's already been previewed by the critics out there,
Yeah.
97% and higher. Every single one.
That's
And when you
insane.
look at it, it just got better each season. I think the first two were both 97, and then it was like 98, 99, 99, and here we are so far. This last season it's 100 rated, crazy.
Yeah.
But big time. It means it's just great. It's living up to its potential. It's great TV. I'm a big
Yeah.
fan. The tomato meter 98%, 96% on the audience side from
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes. Is the prequel to Breaking Bad. And you already mentioned it. It started in 2015. BJ, I just love this show. Bob Odenkirk does a phenomenal job
Yeah.
as Jimmy McGill and as Saul Goodman. Mr. Carbon in the chat, yes sir. It's a crazy
Absolutely.
good show,
Yeah.
dude. And Kim Wexler, very underrated in this in
Yeah.
this show. Just a phenomenal actor.
Rhea
And
Seehorn has deserved an Emmy for her acting
oh
in this show,
man,
and it's
and
just a
I
shame that
was
she hasn't
looking
gotten it.
that I was gonna say that through all these nominations for this show, she doesn't have a single individual one, and that is insane. I understand Bob Odenkirk and him getting one, like almost every year. He's doing the doggone thing. But man, what is Jimmy McGill without Kim Wexler?
Well,
What is
that's
Saul Goodman without Kim Wexler?
and it's
What is this
insane.
show without Kim Wexler, yo?
Absolutely, it's insane because Kim Wexler's not in Breaking Bad. So if you
Dude,
watch this and then you watch Breaking Bad, you're like, where is she? What's she doing? And that's
yeah, you
why
won't know
a
about
lot of
Kim until
people
you watch
are
this.
kind of uneasy about what's coming in the second half. From what we've seen in the first half of season 6, that's some definite bleep, if you know what I mean. It
Mm-hmm.
we got a lot to worry about for fans of Kim Wexler and her fate as
Dude,
the the series goes
that
comes to an
that
end.
that ending to where we're at right now, dude,
Mind
crazy,
blowing, man. Oh
crazy.
man.
But no, that is a disappointing thing, and people that got nominations. The guy who plays Mike, guy who plays Gus
Hmm.
Fring,
Yeah,
and Bob Odenkirk are the main ones that got any noms. I didn't see anybody else.
I don't think you. I don't
And
think we've had any. I think.
and a bunch
I
of
think.
show stuff.
Think Chuck got one.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. That is
Yeah,
correct. The dude that plays Chuck, he got one, and I think it was in the
Michael
final season when he
McKean.
died or
Yeah.
something.
Oh, that's a
Um.
spoiler.
See,
Oh, hey, but
see.
this is like 3 seasons ago spoiler. So if you haven't
Right.
caught it like
Right.
3 seasons ago, that
Right.
may be more on you.
Right. So if you're halfway through the show and that's a spoiler for you, that's your fault.
That's
But
unfortunate,
I
but
mean,
still.
you probably should have figured he was going to die anyway.
Anything
Um,
anything that's not from like, season 5 or beyond is fine to talk about at this point, I think.
But yeah, BJ, I'm excited for the show to come back. I got rehyped, watching it just I think it was
Yeah.
last month when I finished it, catching up, and
I
I'm stoked for it to come back and to see what we've got here because Breaking Bad, the account on Twitter, hard teased it before this first half of the season came out. It was showing pictures and like it showed Walt and Jesse in the car, and I was like,
yeah.
ah, why would
I
you?
mean
First of
that's
all, why
insane
would you
that
tell
that's
us
not a
that?
spoiler. Yeah.
I was mad actually that they told us that already because like low key in the first half I was kind of waiting for it, is anticipating it already, and now like okay it's definitely in the back half of the season, but just putting that big thing out there was like yo chill
I
out.
trust Vince Gilligan
Uh,
because if he thinks that if he thinks that that's worthy enough of promoting on social media, it means he's got something just insane ready as the twist or whatever. So I'm not gonna judge him. I'm not going to say that I'm not excited beyond just comprehension right now because
yeah,
this just I mean I this is the first season that I've really gotten to watch like on a weekly basis since season 1. I've always had to like binge watch and catch up, or watch it like delayed or something like that,
yeah,
between seasons 2 and 5. This is the first one I've actually gotten to watch like a weekly occurrence, and I mean
yeah.
this has been a long 7 week wait, Drew. Oh
Dude,
man.
yeah, this will be the first one I'll get to watch week to week too. Most everything else, all the good shows that I've watched, all my favorites, I haven't gotten to watch as the show was going on in real time. So except for I think a season maybe of Walking Dead, but that doesn't count. Uh,
I didn't even watch
but
Breaking
love.
Bad when it first aired. I binged that one once it came to its
Yeah.
conclusion.
So like those all aired like when we were in high school. So we were busy being
Hmm.
high schoolers and stuff, like doing
Yeah.
activities, whatever.
Oh yeah.
And then later in college we're like when we become binge watchers
Oh yeah.
of Netflix and things like that. We're like, man, what should we watch? And we hear about this Game of Thrones, this Breaking Bad, but like, what is all this that I've been
This
missing out
Wire.
on? This
Yeah.
Walking Dead, this Wire, oh,
Yeah.
all this. So a lot of it,
Good stuff.
we got to. I like the binge watching later, actually. When you get to
Yeah.
just sit back and just watch it instead of that anticipation, waiting
I
a
think
whole
there's
week. So like when House of the Dragon comes out for Game of Thrones, I'm gonna be on pins and needles every week. Like, oh my god, I need the next episode now.
Yeah, I think there's both good things and bad things for both
Yes,
sides because, like,
yes,
you
totally.
get the with week to week, you get the relevance of it still being like something you can talk about multiple weeks, as
Yeah,
opposed to like when Netflix drops something and you just binge it like that first weekend or whatever. You watched it, you talk about it for maybe a week or so while people are watching it at their own speed, and then it kind of goes away for a while. I mean, you've seen the hype with Stranger Things. It just wrapped up season 4. I'm not a watcher, so I'm not going to say any more than that. Although I've seen a lot of people talking about it,
and then
but
they
I
dropped it two
but I
years from now. The next season
yeah,
comes out.
but I guarantee you here in at least 2 or 3 weeks, you won't hear anything about Stranger Things season 4. It'll be
Probably not.
gone
It'll
that
die
quick.
down.
Yeah,
Yeah, it'll die down. The hype tends to die down
yeah,
after a bit. It's yeah, that's just how it goes. But yeah,
yeah.
that's what's on Drew's mind today. Better Call Saul,
Awesome,
and I'll
awesome.
we'll have both watched the first episode of this end of the Better Call Saul era. Uh,
I'm probably gonna text you after it's over and be like, dude, or
I
whatever.
might be like all on Twitter like holy.
I don't tweet during the show because I'm watching it like, okay, I need to make sure like
I don't know what I'm
what
gonna
does
be
this
like.
connect to?
So
Why are they playing this song? What, like, is this like a
yeah.
is this going to be Walt and Jesse in this episode, or so
Is that It's crazy. I haven't connected like music mostly in like movies and TV shows, since like Game
yeah.
of Thrones only. I know there's some other music that probably syncs up, but like,
Breaking Bad definitely used music a lot
yeah.
to kind of, I mean,
See,
they
I'll
use,
notice that probably when I rewatch it, because I've only watched it through once, so I'll
yeah.
probably notice things more the second time.
When you
But
watch, I
yeah,
think
that's
there's a
good.
late season, like season 5. I think there's one cook that they're doing in like one of the houses that are supposed to be fumigated or whatever, and
Hmm.
they use the song "Crystal Blue Persuasion," which it felt like it had been needed ever since season 1 when they finally first introduced the blue crystal meth. I mean, it's
Hmm.
just chef's kiss,
Gotcha. I'm gonna have
perfect
to look
music
out for
choice.
that. Yeah,
Yeah,
heck yeah. But that
watch
is
it again, man. Oh
that's what's
man,
on Drew's mind. Better Call Saul coming back
awesome.
on Monday.
I can't
Uh,
wait.
Next up, WNBA Midseason Awards, Mr. BJ.
Yes, yes.
And
All
we
right.
promise not to leave out Coach of the Year this time.
Oh, that was a big oof. All
I have it right here.
right, all right.
I got some pretty good picks here.
Okay.
You want to lead us through this, buddy?
You want to take the reins? I'm more than happy to allow you to give your picks first
Fine,
because
fine, BJ. I'll do it. You don't want to do it? I'll do it.
who's
All
your
right.
MVP, Drew? Who's your
I don't want to.
MVP?
I feel like we should do that last. I feel like we should do
Okay.
that
Well,
last.
who's your coach of the year then? Let's start off with that. Make sure
That's
we get
second.
that first.
Hold on. Let's get. I have it. I'm gonna go in
Okay,
the
if you've
reverse
got an
order of how I
order.
wrote it down. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So, executive of the year. It's gonna be James Wade for me.
Okay.
He's able to
Yeah.
retool his championship squad to look like it might be even better than last year's team.
Yeah.
They were before, they lost earlier today to the Lynx, who
Mhm.
have been on fire since they got healthy.
Yeah.
They were the number one team in the league. I mean, they're tied for it right now. They don't hold it solely, but they're the number one team, looking great. I think that was only their sixth loss of the season.
I think
Uh,
you're right. Yeah.
it's a completely different start from last year, and like I said, they're looking better. And last year's team ended up winning a championship. But it has been a long time, BJ, since the league has had a repeat champion.
Hmm.
So we'll have to see if the
I
Sky can overcome that and repeat. But James Wade being
yeah.
able to add Emma Meeseman, she's an All Star this year,
Yeah.
and just being able to replace the pieces he lost and make that team even better. I think that's big time. I almost put Dan on here, but the Sky are doing a bit better, and I
Yeah.
think they're better at this point than they were at, and they're significantly better than the Atlanta Dream, even though the Dream are in contention for one of the last two playoff spots.
Yeah, I mean, I think we talked about it before the season, based on the job that Wade had done, that he was deserving of Executive of the Year, or
I
he
think
was
he was
our
my
pick.
preseason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was my preseason pick too. I'm pretty sure, and he's still holding true right now, even though they just had a 5-game winning streak snapped. That roster that he's assembled, I mean, they look dangerous enough that they could win it all again this year. I mean, you can make the argument with what Vegas is doing. They've got a great talented core there too.
Hmm.
But I think at the end of the day, it's got to be James Wade and
Yeah.
what the Chicago Sky have done.
BJ also rolling with James Wade. Let's go, Coach of the Year. BJ, this was tough, but I've kind of had this person tabbed since the way the team started early. The best started in their franchise history.
Hmm.
9-0, I believe it was. Becky Hammond in her
Yeah,
first year in the
yeah,
WNBA. To to come in like that, come in with 9 straight wins. I know you inherit a really good team, but that doesn't mean you're not gonna rail off 9 straight like that.
no,
That means nothing. And you got 4 All Stars right now. I believe 2 starters, so Asia and Plum, and then
hmm
Jackie Young is a starter, and very well could win the Most Improved award as well, which we'll get to soon.
yeah,
And Hamby an All Star again.
hmm
And then you got an all-star caliber player in Chelsea Gray who didn't make it, but you know what she brings to the table each and every day. But
yeah,
Becky just kind of transforming this team from what it used to be into a different version of kind of today's modern game. making it, letting them girls shoot them threes, and be a little bit
Yeah.
more free flowing offensively out there. And I think she's done a great job in Vegas. They're tied for the number one seed in the league right now with
Hmm.
the defending champs, and they also, along with the defending champs, have four All Stars. Yeah.
Drew, my that was my preseason pick. If you remember, going back to the start of the season, I said Becky Hammond. I expected big things from her and the Aces, and they lived up to it. And so she's still my pick for Coach of the Year as well. I don't think you really need to say much more than that. Not
Yeah.
only keeping the hot start, playing consistent, still having the best record, and it seems like every time for the most part that somebody gets close, they find another extra spark. Maybe it's that contribution with what Becky is saying in those huddles on the sideline to
Yeah.
find a way to eke out a win. So I'm not gonna change my mind.
Don't blame you. Hey, and I wouldn't be mad at you even if you chose James Wade, because that is a viable candidate as
Yeah,
well. Next up, we got Rookie of the Year, BJ. If this person didn't make the All Star team, it would have been a pretty, fun race,
yeah,
because Nalissa Smith is super impressive,
yeah,
and I thought she should have been the number one pick, but she's showing she's gonna last in this league for a long time. But
absolutely.
my rookie of the year is Ryan Howard. She's a stinking all star. I actually
Yeah,
tabbed her as an all star starter because Atlanta coming into this year, we thought surefire going to be one of the bottom teams, and they could end up being in the grand scheme of it just by a little bit to these more talented teams who are finally starting to figure some things out. The Lynx could make things problematic. The Sparks have passed the Wings. The Phoenix Mercury are creeping up, so a lot of things could get competitive in there. But the Dream are trying to stay alive with their talent. But they're if the playoffs started today, I believe they would go.
yes,
Um, so that is big time, and she's leading the way, and she's an all star in her first season. So it's big time, and I don't think really most any people can go any other way, unless the only way it could go any other way is if Nalissa Smith just went ballistic for the rest of the season,
yeah,
averaged like I don't know 15 and 15 or like 20 and 10 just went I don't know. She would have to do some ridiculous numbers to come away with it regardless of an all-star appearance for Ryan Howard, but
yeah.
I think Ryan's got it mainly like for sure locked in because she became an all-star as well.
Yeah, I remember before the season I picked Melissa Smith, but the numbers are not that far apart between Ryan Howard and Melissa Smith. Howard 15 points a game, a little under five rebounds and 3 assists a game. But you look at what Melissa Smith is doing out there in Indiana. She's not that far behind. 13 points a game, 8 rebounds. Not quite there with the assists, but 12 and 8 a game is certainly nothing to sniff at. So if you're gonna, if you're looking for another candidate, it would be Nalissa Smith. Unfortunately, Drew, well, not unfortunately, but unfortunately for my preseason pick, Ryan Howard has just been balling out. And at this point right now, Drew, it's Ryan Howard's to lose.
And if Shakira Austin was starting for the Washington Mystics, she would be a very viable candidate as well.
Hmm.
She's been big time off of the bench for them. She's a fun player to watch.
Yeah,
Um, she's definitely dynamic. She's very confident too. So, but she's not gonna get the Rookie of the Year award, but she's
yeah,
she's gonna be all rookie for sure.
absolutely.
Next up, most improved player. BJ, I mentioned this person's name earlier,
Hmm.
and I kind of figured that you would connect the dots that this was going to be the same name that I was saying here. But Miss Jackie
Figured.
Young is
Yeah,
the most improved player. There are some other cases which you might have a different case here. There's another candidate you could pick up here, but I just think Jackie Young's evolution from last year to this year is just it's just dynamic. And had she not gotten hurt for just a small brief, bit of time, like this would be without a question, her award no matter what, how anybody else is doing, but deservingly an all-star and, playing big time, she's just having a career year. And, Becky Hammond has done wonders out there in letting Jackie Young play her game and, be more free flowing and, get buckets, yo.
yeah. I mean, I wish I had something so we could have a little bit of difference. Maybe we will here, in the
Okay,
not too
cool.
distant future. But yeah, I mean, you look at
Oh, we
what
might.
she's improved her scoring average by 4.5, almost 5 points a game from last year to this year. Same rebounding clip. She's getting better with the assist numbers per game, averaging 4, which is nothing to sniff at. But I mean, when you look at everything she's done and the fact that she's an all star, I think she's got to be your most improved player at this point. And it'll be close. I think there's still some, there's still some cases that can definitely be made, but I think right now she's the front runner.
There you go, BJ. I'd love to hear it. Next up, sixth player of the year. I don't really think there's any competition here. It's Brianna Jones's award and nobody else's.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, June.
Period.
That's it.
She's gonna get the bag this summer wherever she goes because it's not gonna be Connecticut. They can't afford to keep all those players.
No.
Somebody's gonna give Bree Jones the max, and she is gonna go ball out somewhere else. But she is the sixth player of the year by far this year.
Yeah, you're
Uh,
absolutely right.
gonna go ahead and slide on to defensive player of the year, BJ. I don't think this one's too close. Maybe had she been healthy the whole season, she'd be able to compete with this and try and get her fifth. But
Hmm.
I think this is Brianna Stewart's award this season. She has been the leader of the defense in Seattle.
Yeah.
People are also going to make cases for Ezzy Magmagor.
Hmm.
She has been playing well. She's probably going to make an all defensive team. But Stewie, she's just dynamic. I looked up the numbers. I mean, she's leading in defensive rating. Defensive win shares. She's up there. I mean, she's also
Yeah.
doing it on the offensive end. But
Oh yeah.
her defense has been most impressive, and that's really what's kind of strong holding the Storm here, and putting them in the position that they are. So, uh, Stewie's been dynamic. If you want me to get specific, I can.
Stewie is one of only two players, Drew, that are averaging two or more steals a game. Uh,
Yes, the steals
so
too. Forgot about
yeah,
that.
I mean, it's probably not gonna be the only award she wins, but I mean, this is the one that I'm gonna for sure give her here in my midseason awards for
Yeah,
defensive
leading the
player of the year.
league in defensive rating, leading the league in defensive win shares,
Hmm.
and in overall win shares.
Yeah.
And in player efficiency rating, you mentioned the steals per game,
Hmm.
tied um, for the most with Skylar,
Yeah.
39 on the season. I mean, she's been dynamic defensively, and she's the leading scorer in the league. PJ, oh
Yeah.
my God!
That's why I
Yeah,
said. That's what
but
I
this is
said.
the defense award. She's the
Yeah.
defensive player of the year. Easy,
Yes. Yeah.
easy.
Easy.
Um,
Easy.
and BJ, you kind of alluded to it already. MVP up next. This
Mm,
is uh This is probably the second toughest choice of the day,
yeah.
right behind Coach of the Year. I thought that was kind of tough. James Wade's doing really good.
Yeah.
But MVP is pretty tough.
Yeah. This. I
Asia
think this
Wilson
one's the
also playing some
toughest.
good defense as well.
Hmm.
Not playing as good of defense as Stewie,
No.
obviously, because we had our Defense Player of the Year. But I mean, got some pretty good offense.
Yeah.
A little bit more efficient than Stewie is right now.
Hmm.
But I mean, Stewie's doing aside from those efficiency things, just the field goal, 3-point percentage. I think her free throw percentage is a little better. Uh, Let me actually double check. Yeah, her free throw percentage is better.
Yeah.
Other than that, Stewie's doing just about everything else better. Scoring the
Yeah.
ball better, defending better. Her Aegis team's got a better record. Cool.
Yeah.
They got 4
It's
All
fine.
Stars.
Yeah.
Seattle shouldn't even have 3 All Stars. Sue is honorary. We're not going to count
Hmm.
that. Joel Lord arguably shouldn't be an All Star. Arguably, I put
Yeah.
Kelsey Mitchell in there over Joel Lloyd. So I mean, it's really Stewie carrying that team,
I was gonna
and
say, just
she
think
is.
about how much worse off the Storm were when she missed that
Oh,
time. Like only a
exactly.
couple of games.
That's another precursor to this. And you saw how once things picked up when she got back, they've just been rolling since. Kind of catching a rhythm there, and she's better than her previous MVP self back in 18.
Yeah.
So this is a better version of Stewie. I think it's a close race right now. You very
Hmm.
well could say Asian. I wouldn't be mad at you. Um, but I think Stewie's coming away with the back to not back to back, but both of these awards: MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, in the same season.
Yeah,
I
I
actually voted. Well, I didn't. She could have. She almost got this back when Asia won it. If Asia had not, well, I take this back. I voted her a defensive player of the year years ago,
mhm.
but you know things happen. But Stewie, I think she comes away with it. You agree, correct?
No, I'm
Oh,
not that far off. This was the toughest
oh!
choice
You
I made.
teased
You,
it and went the other
I know.
way.
I
Okay, I didn't
can't agree
expect
with
that.
you on everything, Drew. I mean,
Okay,
we gotta have a little discussion
okay, you
here.
made me think of
So
this. All right.
yeah, I know. I'm good at that. I'm good at making you
Okay.
think. Yes. So, no. So you asked me a couple weeks ago, and it still hasn't changed. It's very close, but I'm sticking with my preseason pick. I think Asia just a smidge ahead in the MVP race. But like I
Oh,
said back then, Stewie's catching up. She may have already caught up. It's depends on how the second half goes. But for right now, I'm still going with Asia. But I'm certainly not upset if anybody says Stewie because she's gonna make it sweated out.
yeah. I mean, if it comes out Asia MVP, Stewie Defensive Player of the Year, I'm totally fine with that.
Yeah,
And it could, could be, Asia's team was better.
yeah,
Asia had a more efficient year. I mean, didn't score as much, but I mean, she had three other All Stars going crazy, and Plum
yeah.
scoring like 20 plus a game, so or somewhere around there. But
And we've seen awards in the
either
past
way,
go to players that maybe weren't as deserving. So it
I just,
happens.
I just don't know if it would. It just doesn't sound right in a way with how we saw Stewie start off her career,
Hmm.
from Rookie of the Year to All Star to MVP to, I mean, and Asia, I think, did the exact same thing. Um, I don't know, just that I don't know that I envisioned originally Asia getting a second MVP before Stewie,
Yeah,
but I don't know. It could happen this year, but one thing is for sure is that Brianna's coming away with the Defensive Player of the Year. That's going to
yeah,
happen.
yeah.
So locks in these awards that probably won't change. Stewie Defensive Player of the Year, Sixth Player of the Year Breonna Jones, and Rookie of the Year Ryan Howard. I think those
Yeah,
are what we're going to be saying at the conclusion for sure.
I
But
think so
those
too,
are
Drew.
your midseason awards picks, ladies and gentlemen, and now it's time for a little game that's been here for a while. None of that new
A
stuff.
big time game. Been here a while. Yeah,
With
yeah,
it or quit it.
yeah. All right, Drew. It's my turn again this week.
Yes, indeed.
This is the second week in a row that I have gotten to ask you 5 questions and see if you are with them or if you're going to quit them. So, if you're ready, Drew, I will begin with number one.
As SpongeBob said, I'm ready. I'm
Okay.
ready. I'm ready.
Yes, sir. All right. So, Drew, I'm sure you heard the big NCAA news over the last week or so. The
Eh.
Big Ten is expanding by a couple of members. UCLA, USC set to join in 2024. With the USC and UCLA news coming out, and with them moving to the Big Ten, the Pac-12 teams that are still remaining are heading to the Big 12. Do you agree? Are you with it? Or are you going to quit it?
I'm going to say with it because I feel like that's the right answer here. I don't
There have
remember
been
all the
talks
teams in
that,
these divisions.
yeah.
Go ahead.
So, yeah, I was just going to say USC and UCLA moving to the Big 10. There's been talks with the Big 12 of possibly adding in Arizona, Arizona State, Utah, Colorado, Oregon, and Oregon
I
State, or
haven't
Oregon
heard
and
the depths
Washington.
of
I'm
all
sorry.
this.
Yeah, so there's those 6 of the remaining 10 teams. So that if you're Stanford and Cal and Oregon State and Washington, you're this state, you're like, where's our invite? So
Hmm.
we're talking about conferences that are going to be really stretching from East Atlantic to Pacific.
Oh, it
What's
don't
to
matter.
stop the Big 12 from picking those teams up and adding them to the
Okay.
conference?
Now I remember where I did actually hear this. Oh my gosh, again, dude. That's really pissing me off. Um, golly. Yeah, I'm with it. Go ahead.
All right, Drew is with it for number one. Now it's time for number two. I'm gonna test your opinions of fast food establishments, Drew. The best fast food milkshake in the game can be found at Dairy Queen. With it or quit it.
Uh, milkshake?
Yeah. So
I
like a shake, essentially.
well, I know BJ.
Well, you said milkshake like unga bunga, so I just was like,
I was just
you know,
trying to think. Like, I don't know if I've had milkshake. I don't can't remember last time I had a milkshake at Dairy Queen because I get blizzards mostly.
okay.
Um,
Do you get Brahms milkshakes a lot, or
I don't get milkshakes a lot.
just in
If I'm
general?
gonna get the
Okay.
ice cream, I usually just put I get this I get the candy in it too.
Yeah, the
Uh,
Sunday. Yeah,
or I get a cone or something.
yeah.
No, I don't. I don't. Oh, okay. So actually, I take that back. So when I get Brahms for lunch, sometimes I get a small shake. Those
Mm-hmm.
are pretty good, but so
Mm-hmm.
that's probably the only place in recent years that I get a shake.
Okay.
But DQ has good ice cream, so I wouldn't doubt that. But I'm gonna say quit it on the fact that I don't get the DQ ones enough to
Okay.
know or even remember what they taste like. Um, so I don't know. I'm
He's
gonna
going to DQ for lunch tomorrow. He's gonna get a shake, and he's gonna text me and be like, "Okay, you were right. I changed my answer with it."
I'm probably gonna not be able to resist getting a blizzard, to be honest, if I roll up there. That's what I'm there for mostly. I don't care about your chicken strip baskets anymore. I don't care about your steak baskets or your little burgers. I want your blizzard, even though it's an arm and a leg. I want it.
Yeah, I'm kind of going on a sugar kick this week, and so I'm trying to stay away from stuff like that. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to live vicariously through you. All
there you
right, number
go.
three, Mr.
Okay.
Carbon Gaming alluded to this earlier with the news that came out
Okay.
earlier today. So my question was that Baker Mayfield will not be the Carolina Panthers starting quarterback in their game week one against the Cleveland Browns. With it or quit it. And this can be where you allow for time to give your thoughts on the trade.
I'm gonna say with it that he will not. Um,
So you think it's still Sam Darnold's job then?
dude, I don't know whose job it's gonna be. There's three quarterbacks out there.
Yeah.
They all kind of stink. So I don't know which one of these stinky quarterbacks is gonna win.
Yeah.
Um, I feel like they might go with Sam, and the first one they try be Baker. So maybe they cut Cam,
Yeah.
but
I can't imagine Cam sticking around, especially with Matt Corral there now.
yeah, and they really hyped. They really hyped Sam Darnold bringing him in. So they'll probably give him another shot.
Yeah.
And then if that project fails, they'll go to Baker Mayfield. Baker didn't get traded for much. I
No.
don't. It was just like it was one
It's
pick.
like
I
a
don't know,
yeah.
some conditional pick, right?
Yep. Yep. In
Yeah,
2024.
yeah. So 2 years from now. Yeah, I don't think he starts week one.
Yeah, I don't know if this trade happening at the beginning of July allows him enough time to get into the pace of being acclimated with his new receivers, by that point. So I can't imagine
Oh,
he'll start the season as QB, but probably no later than, week 4, week 5, it'll be his job, and he'll have that, practice down and have more familiarity with their scheme and their system.
maybe.
Um,
I don't think it moves the needle any bit for Carolina because they still
no.
stink.
No, I mean it's going to be whoever's the next guy after Matt Rule. It'll be his team to kind of get into that position where they can take that next step.
They
But
just don't have a. Go ahead.
I was just going to say Carolina didn't give up a whole lot to get him. I mean,
Nope.
considering what the Browns wanted, Carolina's like, hey, you're the one that has the problems. We'll just wait this out until you get so desperate to get rid of him that we can get him for pennies on the dollar almost.
Right, and Carolina's just lacking skill players offensively, aside from DJ Moore and Christian McCaffrey, which you got not much.
Maybe
So
a game of health before he gets hurt.
don't wish that on that man. We need to see
I
him play
don't wish
football
it. I'm
again.
just
Yeah,
saying that's what happens
that's a
every year. I
jinx.
stay
No,
away from him
every
in
year. It's just the
fantasy.
past 2 years. You're evil. Leave him
It feels
alone.
like it's been every year.
It feels like it at this point when they're out for
Yeah.
so long.
Mhm.
But yeah, I'm gonna go with that. He's not.
All right. Number 4. We talked about the movie theaters during BJ's Best earlier, Drew,
We
and
did.
the question here is the best movie to see out in the theaters right now is Top Gun Maverick. With it or quit it?
Um, Based on what I've heard and based on the numbers that I've heard,
Hmm.
absolutely with it.
That's what I've heard too. I have not
Yeah,
yet seen it, but
I haven't even seen the
um,
first Top Gun, so
wow.
yeah,
Ooh, man.
I know. Uh,
But yeah, I
it,
mean, those are the basically you've got, kid movie or Top Gun Maverick in terms of what you want to see. Although, if you like the Marvel movies, Thor: Love and Thunder comes out this
ooh,
Friday. So,
no, I gotta catch up on my other Thor movie before I watch that one.
oh,
Behind.
I didn't watch the first two, but I watched Ragnarok and loved it. So,
Oh man, I don't know. I feel like I gotta watch it.
the first two just, I mean, the pacing is just, so I didn't even
Well, I've
really want
already
to.
seen it. I haven't seen
Yeah,
that. I don't think I saw Dark World. I think I saw
Dark
this.
World is one that you can skip and not really miss a whole lot.
Oh,
Like
okay.
everything that everything that would have paid off in Endgame from Dark World, you can pretty much figure out without having to watch Dark World.
Got you.
So,
Okay.
all right, last but not least, Drew,
Last.
it's number 5.
Number
All right, we talked about Wimbledon as well earlier, Drew,
Oh, we did. We're talking about things. We did. We
and
did.
we are talking about things. And number five's question is that Novak Djokovic, the one player in the world tennis, is going to win Wimbledon again and claim his first Grand Slam title of this calendar year. Are you with it or are you going to quit it?
I didn't hear the name. You kind of cut out.
Oh, okay. Novak Djokovic, the number one player in the world of tennis
Oh,
right now.
my boy. Yeah. Let's go with that because it's my dog. One of the coldest tennis players on the earth. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna let him. If he got a, he would end up facing Nadal, right? Or no? Oh, BJ, I can't hear you. Oh no. Ah!
Yeah,
BJ's
yeah.
broken.
That's the way the
Oh,
bracket
okay, he
shapes
would end up
out.
facing Nadal. Cool. You mentioned Nadal's injured. He is on a little hot streak. I don't have their comparison numbers, which would be a
Hello,
lot of
hello,
fun.
hello. Am I here?
Which would be a lot of fun right
Can you hear
now.
me?
But
Yes.
yeah, it would be a lot of fun right now if I had those numbers. But still, I'm gonna go with Novak.
So you're going to say with it.
Indeed.
All right. Novak Djokovic is Drew's pick to win Wimbledon, and that's was it or quit it, Drew.
Yes, indeed. And that's gonna be the show as well. PJ had fun running through this again with the new segments. Trying to trim time a little bit. We won't go through an hour and a half. We'll get it to around an hour and 15 like we are today. But yeah, I'll remember to we'll remember to talk about how much we enjoyed the first episode of the season coming back when we watch it on Monday on the next episode of the Lowdown, which we've got four more. I'm sitting there mathing. 47,
Oh,
48, 49, and 50 the rest of this season. Four more episodes in this season.
yeah.
And we're going to take a little mini vacation. Not really going anywhere on any actual vacations, but getting prepared for season 3 of the Lowdown coming. Once we get started up in our football season this year, we'll ramp into season 3 with BJ's best, what's on Drew's mind, and something else to be added as well that you guys may look out for But a lot of fun coming into season 3. But yeah, 4 more episodes left in the season. Catch it while you can. Hopefully, we will have another big name guest on before we close out the season. Uh, so be on the lookout for that and that bonus episode
Yeah.
to debut. But in the meantime, make sure you follow us on social media and on Twitch and YouTube. All of the names are at the underscore lowdown. That's THA underscore lowdown on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, and Instagram. All them places,
Yep.
the underscore lowdown. Drop us a follow, give us some love on the videos. We got some clips coming with these shows. Some are out right now on YouTube, and plenty of stuff coming on Twitter and Instagram as well. Just make sure you keep up with us. Uh, BJ, any final thoughts?
No, man. I mean, I think we might have to start season 3 off with a Better Call Saul series finale recap. That might be what we
Man,
have to do since we only got 4 more episodes. There's 6 episodes left in the show. We gotta figure something out to do when the show ends.
well, boy, I tell you what, we're probably gonna be talking about the first episode of House of the Dragon, to be honest, because that will be right around the corner. All that just happened.
Not too long.
Yeah, so we'll have plenty to babble about. But anyway, that is gonna do it for us today. This has been the Low Down Sports Show. We will see you guys next week.
Peace.